Hello and welcome back to the Dan Cave, and welcome to the end of 2021. So it's now December 29th when I'm recording this, so a couple of days left of the year. So basically, well, I think I've finished all my kits for this year. I'm not going to finish anything else in the next 2 days. So I thought it was a kind of appropriate to do a little bit of an end of year look back at what's been built. So before I dive into the details of that, I suppose a good place to start is to just kind of sum up what's 2021 been about for me. So I suppose first and foremost, it's been a grand total of 30 kits built, and we're going to run through all of them in a few minutes' time. Don't worry, we're not going to spend 10 minutes on each. It's going to be a quick kind of flick through of everything, just kind of summarising my thoughts on each of those builds. So hopefully this video shouldn't run to more than maybe 30 odd minutes. That's the intention anyway. So 30 builds. So what else has this year brought? Well, this year's brought this channel. So this was started in March time. I think I launched the channel. Obviously launched with 0 subscribers, apart from myself. And over those kind of past kind of 9-10 months, it's grown to, getting close to the 500 mark now. So, a big thank you to all those people who subscribed. Also would like to say a big thank you to all the people that have given the channel a shout out throughout the year and have kind of helped boost those numbers. So, first and foremost, Paul Breitling, the international scale modeler, top bloke, top modeler, the company he's part owner of, that he co-owns, UMP. Their products are fantastic. You'll see their primers are there. I do use them. Use a lot of their sanders, etc. Use their washes. I have to be honest, their products are genuinely good stuff. They get used a lot by me. So big thank you to Paul at ISM. He's given me, he's given my channel a shout out a couple of times in his bench reviews. Always happy to kind of boost it during the live shows as well. Another one I'd like to thank is Luke Carswell at Black Rifle Model Works. Luke dropped out of YouTube for a bit earlier in the year, has come back with a bang, and has now pushed himself over the 1,000 mark, which was a really kind of good goal he wanted to get to, and he's done it, and he absolutely deserves it. So, but a big thank you to Luke as well, because he's always happy to give a shout out. Luke Ward, Scale Motor, another guy I'd like to thank for his support throughout the year. Roland Dewart, Model Kit Beginner. Again, another guy, part of the live crew, got his own channel, Model Kit Beginner. Another top bloke and top modeler. Of course, I can't but not mention Scaly Models. Mike, always happy to give the channel a shout out. Top bloke as well. And Ice Queen Sue Shapland, absolutely top lady, very good modeler. And again, thanks for the support throughout the year that those guys have shown. If I've missed anyone on that list, it's mainly because I'm forgetful. But certainly of all the kind of nearly 500 subscribers I've got, I'd like to thank you all for the support, and I genuinely mean that, because as I've said before, without you guys, it's just me talking to myself on the internet, which could be viewed as a bit weird if you're not talking to other people. But there we go. So what else has 2021 brought? Well, 2021 has also brought me to the ISM Friday Night Live show as well. So I'm part of the regular kind of Friday Night Live crew. Now doing the questions for the crew section as well. So that gets posted regularly on International Scale Modeler in advance of the Friday show. Your chance to ask questions to a panel of modelling experts. I suppose we could class ourselves as experts, I suppose. Certainly some of us probably can. Maybe not me. But certainly there's a wealth of modelling knowledge there, and I'm sure there's some collective wisdom. If nothing else, we'll try and answer in an entertaining fashion. So yeah, so 2021, what a year it's been for me and modelling. 30 kits, my own YouTube channel, live show. Yeah, really pleased with that. So without dragging this on for too much longer, let's switch over to have a look at the retrospective of what's been built. So 30 kits. I'm not going to dwell on them for too long. I mean, you'll see. I can see the progress in a lot of things throughout the year. I'll mention a few areas where I've kind of changed what I've done as well. But for me, I think I've seen definite improvement over the last year. I still somehow managed to produce kits very, very quickly. Not quite sure how I do that. I mean, some of them are relatively simple kits. I mean, some of the 72nd scale aircraft are quite quick to turn around. But still, 30 kits is a lot in 1 year. So, well, let's go and have a look. I'll shut up now, and the other me can do a talk over on the retrospective. So I'll come back at the end for some final thoughts. So, this is the 2021 completions. So we've got a bit of a collage of about 20 of the 30 kits. So let's dive straight on in. So first up was this. So this is the Tamiya Repsol NSR 500 12th scale. Really good kit, quite an old kit. I've had it for a long time. Finally got around to building it. I think I did a reasonable amount of justice. It was. I think I used Zero's 1K lacquer clear. I've now moved on to 2K since then, but it did the job on this kit. Yeah, I was quite happy with that. It's the first time I've done a bike in quite a few years, so I was really pleased with how it came out. The paints themselves are Zero's Repsol paint set. And they worked pretty well. Just with Zero paints, they are very hot, so go easy with them, and they do come out really well. Yeah, so quite pleased with that. Then second up was the Revell 24th scale Porsche 934 in the Jagermeister scheme. So this kit, again, it was only 1K cleared, but I used, trying to remember what the base coat was. It was Mr. Hobby Aqueous orange. Seemed to come out quite good. I was pleased with this kit. Went together well, enjoyable build. I have the Martini version in the stash as well, which will get built at some point. But what I would, so around this time is when I decided to start doing video builds. So this is the first video build that was on the channel. Very much a trial and error. I wouldn't say it's a good video production. It was more about just trying to see what ways of working I'm going to use. Do I do and talk over music, etc. So it's still on the channel, but it's not my finest video work. But it's there for posterity reasons anyway. I do still think that kit rides a little high, but there we go. So then I built the Revell 72nd scale Junkers JU88A4. So this kit had been part built a number of years ago, was still sat in the box, just hadn't got around to finishing it. Finally got around to doing the assembly on it. Got it painted up. I think I used Revell acrylics actually on this. So airbrushed, thinned with UMP universal thinners. So a really nice kit, went together well. Quite pleased with the finish, considering it sat there for so long. I was quite pleased with how that came out. So one of my early favorites from the year. So this is the new Peugeot 306 Maxi, 24th scale. Lovely kit, really enjoyed building it. I was always a big fan of the 306 and a big fan of the wide arch one that they rallied with. So really enjoyed building that. Again, this was pre 2K. Just about to make the transition. In retrospect, I maybe should have waited and used 2K. It would have given a better clear coat. But other than that, really happy with how this came out. And this is to show you an example of what a little bit of photo editing can do. Darken up the background, makes the picture pop a little bit more. But yeah, so I was really pleased with that. Weak points of the kit, the glass is not great. It's a bit of a tight fit. Rear suspension can be a little bit tricky to get it properly aligned on both sides. But aside from that, I was really happy with this kit. So then a little bit of fun, one of the Airfix vintage kits, so the 76 scale GMC Duck. So that was just a little bit of fun to play around with, a little bit of kind of weathering techniques, and yeah, very quick build, just thrown together and given a lick of paint. I didn't even take final photos of this because I've not unmasked the windows in this or given it a matte coat. So this was a Revell Ford F-150 Raptor. So this was one of the Revell snap kits, which I think I picked up in Lidl for about £10. And this was my first foray into using 2K. So I think it came out pretty well. Mainly a bit of an experiment. For a tenner, it was, it was worth it. Kit goes together easy. It's a snap kit. But the body was painted in a Revell Aqua acrylic color, and then 2K'd with Pro Range 2K. So fairly happy with that, how that came out. Happy with the 2K on it. So yeah. For a tenner, nice little kit. So then we move on to an Taliaris special. Taliaris 172nd F16C. So that was painted using Vallejo Model Air, US Air Force Grey's paint set. Not a bad little kit from Taliaris, a bit vague in places as you'd expect. A little bit of filler used, but not the worst kit I've come across by any means. And I quite enjoyed that as a build, because I'd not built an aircraft for a while actually at this stage. So it's nice to get back to kind of my roots of 72nd scale aircraft. So this for me is definitely a contender for one of my favorite builds of the year. So this is the Tamiya 12 scale Ducati 916. So this was also one of the early 2K efforts, using Pro Range 2K. Decanted TS8 is an Italian red for a color. Pretty much everything else was done using Revell Vallejo acrylics. But really enjoyed this build. I think there's one or two little errors here or there. I think there's a fingerprint or two somewhere in and around the engine. But other than that, I have to say I was really pleased with how this came out. Yeah, very, very pleased with this build. One of my favorites of the year. So, the B-Max Audi Quattro S1 Evo 2. Without doubt, one of my favorite rally cars of all time. One of my favorites from the Group B era. It was such a joy to build this kit. It's a very simple kit. It is curbside. There's not a huge amount in it, but it's just such an enjoyable build, and mainly because it captures the craziness of the Group B era so effectively. The aerial is the one area that's a real weakness on the plastic kit. Could have done with being replaced with easily just some wire. I'm sure there's one comes in a detail upset to replace it, but other than that, yeah, really, really pleased with that kit. This was one of those kits where I used Zero's Pure Brilliant White. It was so close to destroying the paintwork. But luckily enough, because it's white plastic with a white primer and then a white paint, the couple of areas where it did craze a little bit kind of disappear under the decals and clear coat anyway. So that was kind of one of those just about got away with it moments. But yeah, really enjoyed building this kit. So then, for a little bit of fun, another 72nd scale kit, the Airfix Fokker Eindecker. Nice little kit, goes together very well. I think I built up most of that kit within probably a couple of hours. And then the rest of it was just kind of a bit of paint, a little bit of rigging thread from ammo. And then I decided to build a kind of little of a vignette base for it. So played around with some of the kind of materials that came in a little set I got off eBay, and used a simple little photo frame to try and capture just an aircraft sat on a landing, well, on a piece of open ground somewhere. A couple of ploughed furrows behind the wheels. But yeah, nice little kit, enjoyable little vignette to build, something I'd not really done before. So yeah, so that was really enjoyable. And then there was another video build. So this was probably was this the first? Yeah, so this was the first multi-part build that I did. So this was the Great Wall Hobbies 144th scale Victor K2. So this was done in basically the Gulf War scheme, the hemp color with the appropriate nose art. So this is a wonderful kit from Great Wall Hobbies. Minimal filler, minimal problems, goes together really well. Builds up into a lovely 144th scale Victor. So I think this was done over 5 or 6 parts. So again, that video build series is a little bit about kind of experimenting with how I do video builds. Yeah, so probably dragged out a little bit more than it probably needed for a kit of this kind of level of complexity, because it's not the most complex kit. But it was really enjoyable to build a kit. A good, I suppose, a good opportunity to do a little bit more advanced video editing than I'd done before. And yeah, it was nice to get some more content on the channel throughout the year. So another car. So this is the Revell 25th scale 76 Ford Torino. So decided not to go for the kind of traditional Starsky and Hutch scheme that comes in the box art. Decided to go for something a little bit more, I suppose, typical of the period. So I think this was a paint called Ginger Bronze. So I got this from a company called Paint Nuts. Gave them the original paint code. They mixed it up and sent it to me. So this is a lovely kind of orangey brown, well, ginger bronze color. So an enjoyable kit from Revell. It goes together quite well. And as you see a little bit later in the year, I've built a few of these Revell US muscle cars from the 60s, and they are an enjoyable build and good value for money. This was an absolute bargain off Amazon. And yeah, really enjoyed it. I think this was the first time I'd done quite a bit of bare metal foil work as well. So covering all the window surrounds, bottom of the body panels, around the fenders as well, the lips on the fenders. So this was another video build, and I think this was the first time I really kind of, I don't know, kind of clicked on the format that I kind of want, I think. Plus this was an interesting build as well, because again, I did something a little bit different. So this is the Aoshima 24th scale Nissan Fairleady Z Nismo edition. So this was done using calsonic blue from Gravity Spain, but with a custom decal for the bonnet and for the roof. So that decal was printed at home on decal paper, sealed, and applied to the kit, and then everything was 2K'd with Pro Range 2K. So a really enjoyable build, really nice to do, kind of a little bit of a custom decal scheme on it, and something a little bit different. So yeah, so really happy with how that came out. Kind of makes what I don't think is the most interesting car a little bit more interesting. So the only downsides to the kit, the headlight glass doesn't fit very well. The bonnet itself isn't a great fit, but aside from that, it's a fine little kit to build. So another Revel kit came out of the stash. So this was the Revel Mercedes AMG GT. So this was painted using. So this was a custom mix. I can't remember what I mixed. It was, I think it's Revell yellow with some Revell red, just to give it more of an orangey color. Produced quite a almost kind of McLaren-esque type color. But yeah, built straight from the box, Pro Range 2K. Went a little bit different on the wheels, stripped the chrome off them, painted them black, and then just filled in the kind of rim with Molotow liquid chrome pen. So a nice little kit to build. Only kind of downside of this kit, I think, is there's a lot of parts in the engine, pretty much none of which are visible. The bonnet even comes off, but even beneath that, most of the engine is just not visible on this kit, which is a little bit disappointing, but enjoyable kit nonetheless. So then it was back to the roots again. So this is the Revell 72nd scale F14D Tomcat. One or two people have pointed out the glaring error, which is the star and bar is on the wrong wing. So that has actually been corrected since, and on the shelf it is on the correct left wing. It is upside down. The upside down bit is correct, but I put it on the wrong wing. In fairness, I'll lay the blame squarely at Revell's instruction sheet for that one, because it is actually called out on the wrong wing on their instruction sheet. But I should have known better, and it shouldn't be there. But yeah, so a really nice kit to build. Gone for a little bit more of a weathered appearance on the upper surface. A little bit more kind of marbling effect. Use some of the UMP washes, some of the ammo washes as well. So I think that's come out quite nice. Really pleased with that. Not built a Tomcat for many, many years. But yeah, really, really pleased with that. So then there was another video build. So this was done as a single part only. So this was the Academy 72nd scale Super 810 Dart. Not a brilliant kit. If you watch the video build, you'll get my views on it. But I think overall, I was quite pleased with how it came out. I think in this kit, I started playing with ammo shaders as well. And I think they actually produced a reasonably kind of good effect on the final kit. But kind of pleased with how it came out, albeit not a very good kit in itself. So this was another video build. So this was the Airfix 72nd scale Bristol Blenheim Mark IV. So I think I did this over 5 or 6 parts. So yeah, so it's a pretty good kit from Airfix. Not many flaws. Fit of the glazing parts on the front is not great, but overall I was quite impressed with it. Went together quite well. Kind of enjoyed it as well in that color scheme. So a nice little kit from Airfix. As a video build series, again, I was just kind of showing that kind of progression of breaking down the build into various parts, and just how it goes through the process of painting and a little bit of weathering as well. So one of my more disappointing outcomes was this. So this is the Tamiya Honda NSX in 24th scale. Playing around with some paint finishes, decided to use I think it was a Vallejo Model Air Chrome paint. Really not happy with the way that came out. It was 2K with Pro Range 2K, but there's just something just doesn't look right on the finish, particularly when you look at the pictures. But it looks all right on the shelf. There's a few little other kind of areas that I wasn't entirely pleased with, but you know, it was done, finished, and it's on the shelf. We'll say no more than that. And another video build. So this was the Revell 24th scale GT350H, the Hertz Renta Mustang. Really nice kit, especially when you consider the price. A few little things with the kit didn't go so well or were challenging. The front and rear valance, which seems to be a common problem with some of these Revell kits, need a little bit of work, but once you get that sorted, everything goes together very well. Paint went on fine. The stripes are the kit decals. They went on absolutely spot on. No issue with that. Bare metal foil, 2K, all of those kind of steps worked very, very well. So that is a video build. I think I've done that as 2 parts because it's a relatively simple kit. But for me, this particular year of the Mustang is one of my favorite. There's something I like about the kind of shoulder line, and just how it kind of blends into the kind of rear tail. A little bit different from some of the later ones, which I do really, really like. So yeah, so very pleased with that. Pleased with the result. Pleased with the kit. Very happy with how that came out. So next up is the Bell Kits 24 scale Opel Manta 400. So this was I suppose, a kit that was close to my heart a little bit, which I talk about during the bench update. I mean, the Manta 400 for me is an iconic rally car. Certainly iconic within Irish rallying circles. I remember seeing them as a kid. So having this kit and then to find, the scheme in the Austin McHale scheme, the dealer Opel Team Ireland scheme, I was really, really happy to find that scheme, and I loved building this kit. Really enjoyed it. I know people have had problems. They're not perfect kits, but thoroughly enjoyed building this kit for me. Went together fine. No major problem areas, and some people have had the body not fit the chassis very well. It's been a bit tight. Knowing that, just kind of constantly dry fitting as I was progressing through, and also trimming the chassis a little bit. Just shaving off the odd kind of half millimeter at the kind of rear wheel arches and the rear end of the chassis just made all the difference, and the body kind of fit on absolutely fine for me. But really enjoyed this. Yeah, and I'll definitely build another. One of the reasons I have to build another is I need to get the right wheels for it, because these are not the correct wheels for this car. You get kind of an odd set of wheels in the kit. If I get another one and I have some decals for another scheme, I'll be able to mix and match to get a correct set of wheels for this kit. But yeah, all in all, really enjoyable build. And a good kit from Bell Kits. Nice amount of detail. You get some PE, you get window masks, you get seat belts. Yeah, so I have to say, I think it's worth the money for this kit. So this was a Tamiya 24 scale Ferrari 360 Medina. So this was an eBay find. It was part started, a few of the parts off the sprue already, and sadly a couple of missing bits as well. But generally fully intact. However, the roof had been squashed a little bit, so the A-pillars weren't particularly straight. So one of the problems I had with this kit and trying to correct the A-pillars, I managed to damage the side glass. So all I've done is basically trim that back to the quarter lights and left the windows open instead. But yeah, the kit, Tamiya kit went together absolutely fine. I think he used Gravity Spain Rosso Corsa, I think, for the color, and then 2K'd with Pro Range 2K. And then there was another video build. So this was a single parter only, a little bit of classic plastic. So this is the Airfix 72nd scale Fiat G91. So this was in its original blister pack boxing from the 60s, I think. So definitely vintage plastic. A little bit of scratch building on the cockpit to make it a little bit more representative. A lot of rescribing of the raised panels into recessed panels. But generally, went together okay. Kind of looks like a G91. Not entirely accurate, but a nice little fun build. And a nice little fun video build in a single part as well on the channel. So another Taliaris kit came out of the stash as well. So this was the Taliaris F111 Aardvark in 72nd scale. Actually not a bad kit. Not many problem areas. A little bit of filler in places, but not that bad. I'd almost say nicely recessed panel lines. Yeah, this was actually quite a nice little kit to build. Color scheme was done using Vallejo's Model Air Southeast Asia camouflage set. Yeah, and all went together pretty well, actually. Nice, enjoyable, fun build. A few little mistakes along the way. If you watch the ISM Friday Night Live show, you will see kind of exactly where a few things went wrong. I originally wanted to have the wings movable, but the fit was a little bit too tight. A couple of areas where I managed to damage paint when doing masking, etc. So quite a few touch-ups along the way. So yeah, so that kind of went okay, and actually overall I was quite pleased with it, actually. So another Revell kit. So this is the Revell 24 scale Audi R8. So this is kind of part way through. Just wanted to show you how the color looked while I was on the bench. So for me, this is kind of how the color looks to the naked eye. It looks somewhat like a dark grey. So Gravity Spain Kenmora grey. Now, when I went to the photo booth, it comes out a completely different color. Looks very, very different under the camera. But saying that, still think it looks okay. Not a great kit from Revell. There are a few problem areas. I had been intending to release this as a video build. I have all the video footage of it, but I haven't fully decided yet, and I haven't edited it yet. So, but it is there. I may do at some point, because some of the problem areas I had with it, engine didn't fit very well in the back. The body didn't go over the kind of engine and chassis very well. There was a few things I kind of did towards the end, which, just kind of got it to completion. The chrome is not great on the wheels. Probably would have been better to strip that than to leave it as it is. But, it's done and it's on the shelf. Now, the Tamiya Ford Mustang GT4. Without doubt, I think this is my favorite build of the year. Really enjoyed building this. The kit from Tamiya is absolutely fantastic. The decal set that I got for this, the Academy Motorsport decal set, was absolutely fantastic. Just loved building this kit. I think the only disappointment with this is I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't video build it. I think after some of the previous video builds, I just wanted a little bit of a break, wanted to build something for me. Chose this and absolutely loved it. Would absolutely build this kit again. The paint scheme on it was a little bit challenging. Getting that fade from black to grey wasn't the easiest. So that was done using Tamiya acrylics through the airbrush. But the decals went down absolutely perfectly over that, and used Pro Range 2K, which came out pretty good. But overall, really, really happy with this kit. One small mistake was having the red wheels, the red markings on the wheels on the front instead of on the back. So it should have been the opposite way around. The wheels are different sizes front and rear, so it's not just a case of swapping them over. They're slightly different shape. But, a small issue, but, for me, it doesn't take away from what was a really enjoyable build. Also added a lot of kind of carbon fiber as well. So the rear spoiler, diffuser, some of the front splitter, and some of the interior as well. I added some carbon fiber to that as well, which just kind of adds to the build, but a really enjoyable kit. Really happy with the overall result. So after that, it was a little bit of a jump back to the roots once again. So 72nd scale modeling. So this is the Airfix Grumman F4f. Quite an easy little build, really. A little bit of detail on the cockpit and the undercarriage. Decided to go with wings folded because it's a little bit of a space saver on the shelf as well. But just an enjoyable little build. Used, I think it was Ammo's US Navy Pacific World War II paint set, something like that. So that gave me the correct kind of intermediate blue for the upper surfaces. But yeah, so that was a nice little build. Quite enjoyed that. Went together very, very well. Was surprised how good the feedback was from a number of people on ISM a bit. There's thoughts on that. I was quite restrained with the weathering. Kind of used a mixture of kind of dark and light panel washes to give that kind of almost, I would say, dusty Pacific theatre finish to it. But for me, it came out quite well. I'm really pleased with the outcome, and really pleased with the feedback as well. So, whilst that was ongoing, started on this, another Revell American muscle car. So the 1970 Dodge Challenger TA. So this was painted in Gravity Colors Chrysler Mango Tango. So my original thoughts were probably similar to what Paul Breitling did with his. I was thinking green. Then I was thinking about one of the stronger oranges. Saw this on the Gravity site, picked it up. Didn't quite expect it to be the kind of darker metallic color that it is. But once it was down, I absolutely loved it. Quite an enjoyable kit to build. Kind of the usual issues that you get with Revell muscle cars. The front and rear volants can be not difficult to fit, but can require a little bit of fettling and a little bit of filler to get them right. However, once that's done, it's kind of plain sailing all the way through. Decided to go for the gloss black wheels. Also in this kit, gone for a satin black bonnet. But the rest of the bodywork on this occasion was actually 2K'd in Gravity 2K, which was my second time using it, which went really, really well. It's a good 2K, absolutely brilliant product. Produces a lovely shine, lovely clear finish. So don't worry, we're on the home straight. So next up was the 12 scale Tamiya Suzuki RGV Gamma. So this was also a video build on the channel. And if you've watched that, you will know that there was a few challenges presented themselves, mainly induced by myself. But, overall, a wonderful kit from Tamiya. Really did kind of enjoy parts of it. A couple of things did go a little bit wrong here and there. This was the first time I used Gravity 2K. Managed to do it slightly wrong, so gave myself a little bit kind of more work to do on the kit. But overall, I'm actually quite happy with the finish. And it's another bike, so that's actually 3 bikes done this year, which is probably as many as I've done in a long time. But yeah, so really happy with this finally at the end. And it's a good video build series for the channel as well. So go and check that out if you've not done so. So build number 29. So this was done for the ISM Christmas group build. So this is the Revell 25th scale Ford FD100 Foose pickup truck. Lovely little kit from Revell. I'll be honest, my mojo did take a little bit of a dip during this build. Probably just because I wasn't getting enough time at the bench. Wasn't making much progress on it. But overall, I am kind of happy with the results. So this was, I think it was primed in UMP white, then a base coat of Gravity Colors Spain Ford Nitrous Blue, which has a little bit of a kind of gold metallic fleck in it, which actually to the naked eye is a lovely, lovely color. Gravity Spain 2K was a clear of choice again. Went with some aftermarket Aoshima wheels for it as well, just to mix it up a little bit. And the bed itself was done using some coffee stirrer, so real wooden bed in the back. So yeah, so overall quite happy. I've kept the interior really, really simple. Mainly, I think it was UMP black primer, which was kind of a semi-gloss black, and just gone for a cream bench seat on that, so kept it quite simple. But kind of finishing this kind of restored the mojo a little bit. Good kit. Would probably build another in the future if I can get my hands on one, because they're getting a little bit hard. And last but certainly not least, fresh off the bench in the last day or so, is the Great Wall Hobbies 144th scale Avro Vulcan K Mark II. It's another cracking kit from Great Wall Hobbies. This one's even simpler because basically there's kind of an upper and lower fuselage, small amount of cockpit to go into it. But other than that, that's the major kind of construction done. So this was painted using Hitaka's Modern Royal Air Force paint set. A little bit of weathering using some UMP washes, dark dirt, light dirt. This will be a video build in the next couple of weeks on the channel. All the footage is done. Just need to do some editing. We'll probably do it as a single part. But yeah, quite enjoyed getting this. A little bit of a final push in the last few days to get it done. But kind of happy it's out the door and happy I've gotten to a nice round 30 kits completed for the year. So that is it for all the kits for 2021. So let's go back to me for some final thoughts. Yeah, so that's what a year of 30 kits looks like. Still a good mix in there, you know, quite a few 72nd scale, a couple of 144th scale, a lot of cars. I think my attention, compared to maybe where I was probably 3 years ago, I built the odd car from time to time, but it was never, you know, a big part of what I did. I think over the last couple of years that's changed, and certainly this year I think my standard cars is finally getting to the place where I'm really, really happy with them. So that's been a big kind of plus, and I think you can see because the standard is getting there, I want to build them more, so they're starting to feature more and more than maybe they would have done a few years ago. That's not to say I'm not still interested in, you know, the 72nd scale aircraft, which is kind of the kind of origins of the hobby and a big part of my passion for this hobby for many years. That's still there because they're all still in the stash and I always plan to build them. I might thin it out a little bit next year. Maybe a couple of subject areas I'm not as interested in. I might look at kind of moving some of those things on, but that's maybe something I'll get into at the start of next year. I might do a Welcome to 2022 video in January. Just kind of thought, you know, give some thoughts about what kind of plans I have and what things I'm going to look at doing. There's not going to be any major changes on the channel. I kind of like, for me, I quite like what I produce and the kind of frequency. Although it's been variable at times, I think it's about the right mix for me to balance work, modeling, video editing, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's time is the constraint for me on video builds. If I'm editing videos, I'm not building. So I've got to kind of balance all those things out. But yeah, I'll talk about that in January. So without further ado, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy new year. I hope you've had a good Christmas period. Hopefully 2022 will bring everyone exactly what they wished for and expected. But big thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you've not done so already, please feel free to subscribe. Please drop a like. Please leave a comment. But most importantly, thank you all for watching and stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.